Let's watch Democrat Jim McGovern from Massachusetts just lighting up, well, Chip Roy directly, but kind of using him as the conductor in which he's speaking to MAGA or the entirety of the Republican Party at this point, because boy, is it good.
Here are some of the convicted felons that Trump set free on Monday. Stephen Cappuccio, convicted of 6 felonies, including assaulting a police officer, ripped off Metro police officer Daniel Hodges' gas mask, and at one point during the assault, he said, and I quote, "How do you like me now, mother effer?" Pardoned by Donald Trump. David Dempsey, sentenced to 20 years. He stomped on police officers' heads, struck an officer in the head with a metal crutch, and attacked police with pepper spray and broken pieces of furniture. He also attacked a fellow rioter who was trying to disarm him, and he has a demonstrated history of political violence. Pardoned by Donald Trump. Enrique Tarrio, sentenced to 22 years. Former national leader of the Proud Boys, a domestic terrorist far-right militia. He was found guilty of seditious conspiracy, helped plan the January 6th attack, and made sure it was violent. Pardoned by Donald Trump.
We're going to keep going because this is great. Trust me. But remember, guys, January 6th was a mostly peaceful protest. Nothing bad ever happened. They didn't even have weapons, guys. Come on. Like, who cares if they were curb stomping cops, right? And Enrique Tarrio is especially damning here, switching to serious, because as he mentioned, this is someone charged with seditious conspiracy, which is pretty much insurrection. This isn't a light charge, right? He's charged with this because he sent out memos organizing groups to go to the Capitol specifically to do violence, specifically with the purpose of circumventing the democratic process. This wasn't someone where it just, accidentally happened and spilled over. These people had a plan, including instructing them to take control of the House and Senate, which included taking hostage members of Congress members, if you could, to which the Proud Boys are on video inciting people on the grounds to attack cops, attacking cops themselves, and breaching barricades and Capitol doors. Tarrio was also at the neo-Nazi Charlottesville rally and a couple other far right-wing events, so he's clearly a stand-up guy deserving of a pardon.
Guy Reffitt, sentenced to 7 years and 3 months. He brought a gun, zip ties, body armor, and a helmet to the Capitol, presumably to try to take hostages in an attempt to keep Trump in office after he lost. Pardoned by Donald Trump. Daniel Joseph D.J. Rodriguez, sentenced to over 12 years. He repeatedly tased Officer Mike Fanone, shocking him in the neck multiple times and causing him to lose consciousness and have a heart attack. He was pardoned by Donald Trump. Patrick McCaughey III, sentenced to 90 months. He assaulted police, beat their faces and bodies with riot shields and batons that he stole for them. Pardoned by Donald Trump. Peter Francis Stager, sentenced to 4 years and 4 months. He pled guilty to assaulting an officer with a deadly weapon. On video declaring every single one of those Capitol law enforcement officers, death is the remedy. Those are his words. That is the only remedy they get. Pardoned by Donald Trump.
Guys, party of law and order. There weren't any guns. I mean, this is just 3D chess from Trump. If you pardon everyone convicted of gun crimes, then there's no proof they had any guns. I mean, there's not even any commentary really needed here because the pardons speak for themselves. These aren't hostages. These aren't people who were wrongfully targeted. These are people who committed absolutely heinous acts with absolutely heinous intentions as why they committed the acts, now being pardoned by the president because they did those heinous acts in his name at his direction. That's it. The corruption and criminality in this is insane. It's unprecedented, but MAGA will always find a way to carry water for these types of actual acts of fascism because they're convinced that the left is the fascist. By the fascists, might I add. This is the fascist and Donald Trump convincing them of that. But they'll always just try to equate it with the left as if there's a both sides to one party clearly doing fascism and circumventing the law at any chance you can.
Julian Cater, sentenced to 6 years, attacked Officer Brian Sicknick with pepper spray. Officer Sicknick died the next day after suffering 2 strokes. Edward Jake Lang was on trial for 11 charges, including swinging a baseball bat at officers. In addition to his January 6 charges, he began organizing a nationwide network of armed militias in all 50 states. Pardoned by Donald Trump. Mr. Speaker, criminals pardoned were not tourists. They were not peaceful. They were violent criminals. And here's just one example. Daniel Ball's case was dismissed today and he was released from jail. Why was he in jail? He was being held in pretrial detention because of what a judge described as, quote, some of the most violent and serious offenses of any of the charges being brought against participants in the January 6th events, end quote. That includes hurling an explosive device into the Lower West Terrace Tunnel of the Capitol, the scene of some of the most egregious violence against police that day. Some officers suffered from hearing loss for months.
Let's be all the way clear about what this is. This is a crazed Donald Trump supporter at the Capitol because of Donald Trump's direction, of whom directed him there in hopes it would help him carry out his illegal attempt to steal our election, that went on to pepper spray a cop that led to his death with another who threw a bomb into the Capitol. That is terrorism. That's so obviously terrorism. The way Fox News would run with this for 20 years, if this was a Muslim who did it in the name of Islam or something, right? But it's some white dude who did it in hopes it would help Trump get free, win the election, I should say. Actually, get free is a misnomer. And Fox News is cheering on the pardons of these people. Imagine if Joe Biden, again, pardoned any Arab ever who bombed anything. The way the right would go off, in probably a rather racist way, might I add. I mean, it's just insane to me, this hypocrisy, how clear and present it is and how nobody cares. I mean, like, obviously those of us on the left who care, those independent lefts care. Those on the right, however, are like shameless about it. They, in fact, will rub it in as if them changing their entire values and ethics and morals and principles at the whim of like the drop of a dime to suck off a billionaire who couldn't care less about them is some sort of own. That's what we're all supposed to believe. And those in the middle just couldn't care less, and they're going to continue to vote off some vague economic feel. It's a crazy world we live in, truly, that this is like able to happen.